So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And yes, listen, I'm not Dr. Love or nobody like that. I'm not Dr. Love. I'm just L. But and also I've been out of the game for a long time. You know, the dating game. I've been gone. I've been handcuffed. You know, for several years, I'm out the game. But you know, wherever I can help, I'm here to do that. So I know it's a lot of things going on out in the dating world, man. Y'all swamped with so much these days. You know, technology is taking the dating world to a whole nother level, right? And with that comes a lot of anxiety, a lot of horror stories, and we're gonna hear some of them today, unfortunately. This is the top 10 scary online dating stories, right? Online dating just scares me regardless, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine y'all's anxiety. But we finna hear these horror stories that have happened. So if you're new to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button, join the fam, and let's check it out.
So, Charlotte, have you ever been on an online date?
I've been on my fair share of online dates.
Any scary stories?
Oh my god, so many. Oh god, it hurts my head just to even think about it.
Well, maybe if we do a part 3 to this, they can entirely be your stories.
I wouldn't mind.
I love that. So hello guys, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Today we are bringing you a much anticipated part 2 to the top 10 scary online dating stories. Now, we have a very special guest today.
It's me. I'm the special guest.
This is Charlotte Dobre.
Hi, I host the channel Inform Overload. It's actually Most Amazing Top 10 sister channel. So if you guys need a place to get your news on YouTube, definitely subscribe to Inform Overload. We do everything from trending news to conspiracy theories to YouTube news, and we try to do like a little bit of a more entertaining take on it. So I write a joke every now and again. Hopefully you like jokes. I like jokes.
I like jokes.
Yeah, I feel like people like jokes.
I like scary stories too, and actually I use Inform Overload a lot of the time when I'm researching videos, because I'm like, have we already got a video that I can refer to? So
very cool. Very cool. I didn't know that.
If you guys want to check out Inform Overload, please do. There's a link in the description box. Head on over and say hi to Charlotte.
Hey.
Charlotte's going to be helping me out with this video. But before we get into it, we want to hear your dating stories.
Yeah, write them down in those comments. I'm like so excited to hear.
I don't have any. So, yeah, handcuffed. All I could do is run to the end of my chain and bark. That's it.
Honestly, I feel like we could make an entire video based on like what the comments.
Maybe we should spill the tea.
Give us the beans. Give us the beans. Spill the beans.
Spill the beans. Give us the tea. We'll take it. All right, Charlotte, you ready to get spooky?
Oh, I'm so ready. Let's do this.
Coming into number 10, we have socks. What could be scarier than socks, right?
What?
17 people shared their online dating horror stories on the website Thought Catalog, and one woman messaged in about her experience with a man on the dating site OkCupid. Now, this is a free-to-use dating site, and maybe you get what you pay for. She said that she matched with a guy, the conversation got going, and he messaged her to ask if she could wear some socks. He wanted to send her some. Thoughtful? Maybe.
First of all, that's creepy. You messaged me to ask me to wear socks? Like, have we gotten to that stage? I feel like that's a certain stage you should have to get to, where you can inquire about what I'm wearing, and it's something that's so personal as, you know, in relations to my feet and my body and what I wear. Like, you doing that in the beginning? Red flag. Red flag.
No, it actually turns out it's just really creepy. The guy asked if the woman could wear the socks for 2 to 3 months without washing them and then send them back. Like, if you're into feet, I don't necessarily judge you, like you do you, but a smelly sock. Honestly, the way a sock smells at the end of the day, let alone at the end of the month or the end of 3 months, honey, no. The girl never met up with the guy in question, but can you even imagine if...
Thank you. I'm so proud of her, because I thought she was gonna say they continued to talk and I was gonna start to question her at that point.
they did meet.
Whew, that one's gross. Okay, in at number 9, we got plenty of nudes. When you meet someone online, there could always be the chance that you could be talking to a predator. I mean, the person is essentially anonymous. You don't know anything about them. Everyone seems normal and nice at first, but then sometimes a dark side starts to show through. A woman who goes by Georgie Rosette said that she met a guy on Plenty of Fish. They chatted for a bit and he seemed nice, so they exchanged numbers. They talked again for a few more days on WhatsApp, but the conversation fizzled out, as it often does when it comes to online dating and two people just aren't hitting it off. A couple of weeks go by and she gets a random message from him. She opens it and it's a picture of a woman's breasts. She was obviously confused, so she sent him back a question mark. He wrote back, "Send more." She had never met this man and she barely knew him, so she said no. Understandably. And then things escalated. He responded, "Send me more or I'll send a picture of the boobs to everyone you know." I'm sorry, what? At first she thought he wasn't serious, so she told him to buzz off. But then he started spouting off names of all the people she's friends with on Facebook, even though she never told this man what her last name was, and they weren't friends on Facebook. She was terrified and threatened to call the police, and he eventually backed off. She blocked his number and set her Facebook to private and hasn't used any online dating apps to this day. Honestly,
Can you blame her? Nah, imagine if that was her first time, or whether or not that leaves a horrible taste in your mouth about online dating. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And I'm telling you, social media being a factor, the fact that somebody can go to your profile, to your page, and then scroll through your friends list and then contact your friends and then say they're gonna do this. Like, sicko. Like, wow.
I feel like deleting my online dating apps after hearing this one.
What an absolute creep. What would you even do? Oh my goodness. Okay, I find this so stressful. At number 8, we have the dog thief. A man used Tinder to match with a woman in Bergen County, New Jersey. An 18-year-old girl matched with a guy who showed up to meet her as she was house sitting for a friend. The teen had never met the man, who turned up to meet her with a friend of his in tow. It seemed that the second man was a surprise to the girl, but she hung out with her date anyway. Meanwhile, his friend cased the house, stole a laptop, an Amazon parcel, but worst of all, they also stole the family's beloved 2-year-old Maltese dog Maggie. Mate, you've gone too far. It seems that the date was part of a wider ruse to burgle a number of homes and dupe vulnerable women. Luckily, Maggie was later found by local town residents. Now, this horror story does have a happy ending, but it could be much worse, like the rest of the stories on this list. Oof.
Yeah, or like this next story, the park masturbator. In at number 7.
Whoa.
I've definitely had my fair share of online dating horror stories, but luckily I haven't met any sickos just yet. Knock on wood. Does anyone have some like wood for me to knock on? Nope. Thank you, Chris. Our next scary online dating story comes from a woman named Ashley, who said she met a man online who wanted to go for a walk. A walk is a great idea for a first date. You get some coffee, bundle up, stroll around, admire the scenery. While Ashley was walking with her date, they stopped to admire the beautiful park, when suddenly her date started licking her face.
What?
She froze and
What? Whoa. Y'all are just meeting and you like straight out the gate just go to lick her face. Like, yo, me and Queen been together I don't know how many years, and if I walk up to her now and lick her face, she's gonna look at me like I've lost it. Like, what on earth made you think that was a cool first move? Because you know he had to play it out in his head, right? You know he drew this out like a play. He played this out. And he was like, something in his mind was like, yeah, bro, go for it.
didn't know what to do. Maybe he was just a bad kisser? Ashley said she didn't run away at this point because she was young and stupid. So she continued walking with this date. And then he licked her face again. You would think that the average person would be significantly creeped out at this point, but then, you know, we all do strange things in the name of love. Ashley and her date sat down on a bench, and she sat on the opposite side of the bench because, you know, she was afraid he was gonna lick her face again. As she was thinking of a way to escape, she heard a strange noise coming from the opposite side of the bench. She looked over and was completely shocked to see that her date was full on touching himself in a public park. Ashley says she's never run as fast as she did that day, and honestly, I don't blame her.
Honestly, I actually would.
dude here, bro. Like, he did not care. Like, in the middle, broad day, in a park, just stroke, like, come on, man. Oh my gosh. Like, y'all have really, I feel sorry for you, ladies. I do. Fellas too, if you've experienced some type of, but I feel like it's the ladies that deal with a lot of these dating horror stories. Yo. Oh my gosh. I bet she never used a dating app again.
Wish part of this video was mine and Charlotte's reactions, because my face during that was just like...
Alright, next up at number 6 we got OkCupid Machete Man. Seeing someone's place for the first time can be an exciting thing. Things are going well and the two of you are finally ready to get intimate. But a person's home tells a lot about them. Are they clean? Do they take care of themselves? Do they take out the garbage? Do they have a machete collection? A woman named Sophie downloaded OkCupid and didn't have much luck meeting anyone interesting. Until one day, she started talking to a man who she then started dating. The two of them went on several dates and one thing led to another, and he asked her if she would like to see his place. She agreed. But when she went back to her date's place, the walls were full of swords, knives, and machetes. Her date then took a machete off the wall and held it to her throat to show her just how strong and sharp it was. It's like, okay, you're collecting knives, that's not that strange. Lots of people are into weaponry, but holding one to your throat the first time you go to a guy's place, I would be afraid to walk out.
Oh yeah, that's gonna lead to the bedroom, bro. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, you know he was a killer. You know he was gonna torture something. There's no way, just a knife. Then he had the nerve to put it to your throat, like on some movie type stuff. Like, yeah. It's my machete collection. It's my knife collection. See how sharp it is? Yeah, it can cut you and put it right to her neck. He probably tried to draw a little blood just to show her how sharp it was, man. I feel for y'all.
Out alive. Also, like, was she supposed to be impressed by the sharpness of his knife? Maybe the guy was a serial killer, who knows? It's safe to say that Sophie never saw her date again.
General rule for a first date, keep all pointy things away from me. All of them. Thank you. Coming into number 5, we have the honey trap. This Tinder date also turned out to be a trap. Now, in January 2016, a man in Boulder, Colorado was excited to match with a woman. He was pretty pumped for their date. I mean, I guess you would be, right? As the man arrived at the agreed date location near the University of Colorado in downtown Boulder, unfortunately, instead of meeting the woman that he'd matched with, he was set upon by a man wearing a ski mask. This is never good news. The man then pulled out a gun and demanded that his date empty his pockets. The perpetrator, who is described as being between 18 and 25 and Hispanic in ethnicity, stole the Tinder date's wallet, including his cash, his cell phone, and his car keys. Now, if there is a silver lining, if there is one, being honey trapped by a man, luckily the guy's car was safe. Now, it does seem like this was not the first crime like this in the area. Just days before, a woman was robbed after organizing a meetup with a guy on Craigslist.
Alright, coming into number 4, we've got Joyride. But this ride was definitely not joyful. A woman met a guy online and they arranged a movie date. We'll call this couple Greg and Mary. Greg and Mary ordered a pizza and started to watch the first movie. He then turned to her and said, "It's hard to be a rich man because women are whores." Mary said she was uncomfortable, so he apologized and they kept watching the movie. 5 minutes later, Greg started ranting again about the same things. Mary told him that she wanted to go home, so Greg offered to drive her. So she gets in his car and then he begins driving recklessly before she can get her seatbelt on. He hits a cement pillar and the car starts to smoke, but he keeps going. Mary is thrashed around the car, she hits the door, the windshield, and describes the experience as being like a bean in a tin can. Greg then starts saying crazy things like, "Oh, I'll get you home, but I don't know what condition you'll be in when you get there." Oh god. Meanwhile, Mary still doesn't have her seatbelt on. Then thankfully, someone pulls in front of Greg's car and he slams on the brakes. Mary hits the windshield, then somehow manages to grab the door handle, opens it, and propels herself out of the car as Greg slams on the gas. She hits the pavement, got up, and started running as fast as she could. Mary finds a parking lot and hides behind cars until Greg drives away. Unfortunately for Mary, she forgot her purse in Greg's car. She had no money and she was stranded. She calls her roommate, but her roommate doesn't pick up the phone. Mary walks a few miles and ends up flagging a cab. She convinces the cab driver to drive her to her mom's house and that she would pay him when she got there. I don't know about you guys, but like, this one made me scared to get in a car with a date. Maybe I'll insist on an Uber next time.
Okay, but I'm glad it ended that.
Bro, is it? Like, I guess you never really realize, you know what I mean? Whether dating app or not using a dating app. When you meet somebody, bro, you just don't know. You're taking a gamble every single time. Hearing these stories, you're just like, it's like rolling the dice. It's a crapshoot.
That way, because I seriously thought that you were gonna say that she had to call Greg and get her purse back, which, like, stay away from Greg. Get out of here, Greg. You creep. More creeps at number 3. Hip hip hooray. We have the sorority snatcher. In April 2016, a college student in Kansas decided to go on a second date with the guy that she'd met on Tinder. The first date actually went well, so she agreed to see him again. However, it seemed that 30-year-old Stephen Allen was not who she thought him to be. Allen picked up the 20-year-old girl at her sorority house and abducted her. He held her against her will for 6 whole days. Now, the crazed man accused the girl, barely out of her teens, of flirting with one of his friends. He then, as punishment, imprisoned her in his trailer for 6 days. Like, this is not okay. The man stamped on her, punched her, kicked her, and even threatened to kill himself. He eventually did return her home when she begged him to. She promised that she wouldn't call the police, but obviously she did. My question is, for Stephen Allen, a lot like Greg, what is wrong with you? Okay, this goes so far beyond what is wrong with you. Coming into number 2, we have stabbing Simpson. In November 2016, student Molly McLaren matched with a guy 3 years older than her on Tinder, Joshua Simpson. The pair both lived near Chatham in Kent in the United Kingdom, and the man ended up attacking Miss McLaren outside her gym in June of the following year. From the off, the pair did have quite a stormy relationship, as the 23-year-old found him to be pretty controlling. The pair broke up after 7 months on and off together. Molly claimed that she was no longer attracted to the guy. The pair did briefly rekindle one final time, but they fully broke up again in the middle of June. Following the breakup, Molly became really worried about her ex's behavior, so much so that she texted her friends saying she felt like she was always looking over her shoulder. It seems that actually her paranoia was pretty well founded. Mr. Simpson had become crazed and started posting malicious statements about her online. On the 29th of June 2017, 12 days after their final breakup, Simpson stalked Molly to the gym. As she tried to escape, he cornered her with a pickaxe and a knife and stabbed her 75 times as she tried to get away in her car. Onlookers called the police, who didn't arrive in time.
See, ladies, that's why when you had trust your gut, trust your instincts. You know what I mean? You having that feeling like to the fact that you had to text your friend and tell her that, you need to contact the police too. Put them on alert. You know what I mean? Get that restraining order, get things started, get things in place. Stop traveling alone. You know, start being around your family more and people that can protect you, because the signs, she knew in her gut that what could possibly happen. I just wish she'd have been able to prevent it.
To save Molly's life, despite one man attempting to stop him. When the police arrived, Simpson was covered in blood and arrested at the scene, thank God. It seems that he actually went on another Tinder date the night before he murdered his ex. Can you even imagine being that girl? She's so lucky she got away. Honestly, my thoughts and heart go out to Molly's family. Like, this is sick and not okay.
Whoa, that was a doozy. I actually feel bad about putting this next one at number 1, but I decided that it would be appropriate because this was a first date. That one's gonna be hard to top though, I have to admit. At number 1, we got the drug date. And this one will scare the crap out of you. A woman named Carol met a man on Tinder. They made plans to meet up. He picked her up and they went to dinner. Dinner was great. They were having an awesome time. She really liked the guy. But then Carol started feeling dizzy and nauseous. She asked her date to drive her home, and when they got there, to thank him, she invited him in for a coffee. She had started feeling a little bit better. But then when they went inside, the dizziness returned, so she asked him to leave. He agreed and left her alone. Carol went to bed, but woke up in the middle of the night because she heard sounds coming from downstairs. She called the police, who showed up and found the door locked. They broke down the door and Carol hears the police officers pinning down someone in her living room. She went downstairs and discovered that all her furniture was covered in plastic and a saw and hammer was laid out on the ground. Basically what happened was her date drugged her and then took her house keys when she asked him to leave. He went home, picked up the murder weapon and returned to her place. He then prepared her house for what seemed to be a future murder and covered her furniture in plastic. Honestly, Rebecca, I feel like I'm gonna be single forever. Like, this is all kinds of no. Like, it makes me I just want to open up to somebody. Like, god damn it.
Honestly, I feel you, but I will say, like, not every person out there is insane.
I hope
and
not.
I know that, like, a lot of these stories have focused on guys being creeps, but I know that there are probably girl creeps out there too.
There's definitely some girl creeps out there.
And it's also really strange that actually when you Google it, mainly you get guys like, are the media not covering enough girl creeps or are there less of us?
I honestly don't know. Maybe guys are too embarrassed to talk about it as well. Like,
That's
it
a
just
good point.
depends on like whether or not people want to share these stories.
We want you to share your stories,
Yeah.
though, guys.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't get too many women. I know some crazy women out there, bro. They may not do as much as like to try to kill you or stuff like that, but they do rob you. I've heard plenty of those stories. A woman will set you up in a minute. You go and you meet this woman and you get to know her and she's playing you the entire time. As soon as you give her or invite her back to your house, she sends a text to a group of dudes. They show up, tie you up, rob you, possibly do more. Like, it's some women things going on out there too. So fellas, be on the lookout. Be careful. Everybody be careful, bro. This is scary. Like, do you have a set of rules of how long do you get to know somebody before you invite them back to your house? I think that's important. How long do you date that person? You know? Like, what is your rules? I think that's important. What are your rules and guidelines to dating? Put them in the comment section. I need to know. I need to hear. Like, I'm concerned for a lot of people out here, man. You know, because sometimes you just be so hard up to meet somebody that you don't pay attention to the signs, and before you know it, you could be drugged up like that girl was. And thank God she woke up and heard everything going on and called the police, because you saw what he was doing. Plastic everywhere, weapons. You know what he was about to do. So, like I said, man, remove online dating. Just dating in general is scary. It's scary, man. And these stories, horrifying. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you think. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Until the next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.